So hey guys, welcome back to our session. So in this session, we'll be doing a question, an RC of CAT 2020 slot 2, that is RC1. So this RC is based on visual culture. I hope you have solved it sometime anywhere. If you have not, I'll provide this PDF in the description box. You can download it, you can solve the PDF, you can solve the whole RC, then watch the video, right? So let's get it started, right? So the first line, the first paragraph, let us see what it says. So the first paragraph is, the claims advanced here may be condensed into two assertions. Now, what are these two assertions? We don't know. First, that visual culture is what images acts of seeing and attended intellectual emotion and perpetual sensibilities to do, build, maintain, or transform the worlds in which people live. So actually the part, in the first line itself, it says the claims advanced here may be condensed into two assertions. So in the first assertion, you can say, in the first assertion, it is saying that the visual culture, what the visual culture is, okay, that visual culture is what images acts of seeing and attendant intellectual emotion and perpetual sensibilities do to build, maintain, or transform the worlds in which people live. Okay, so something it is saying to, like, transforming the world in which people live. Now the second one, the second that the study of visual culture is the analysis and interpretation of images and ways of seeing or gauges that configures the agent's practices, conceptualities, and institutions that put images to work. So the first assertion is something talking about what it does. Okay, it transforms the world and many things else. Second assertion, as per the second assertion, it is talking about the study of visual culture. First assertion is actually talking about what visual culture is, somehow how it transforms, and the second part is the study of visual culture is the analysis, interpretation of images and the ways of seeing that configure the agents, practices, conceptualities, and institutions that put images to work. Images to work means what we are actually learning from images that can be considered as an art form. Now the second paragraph. Now the second paragraph says, I hope you can see the paragraph. Okay, let me just adjust it. Okay, I hope you can see it. Okay, so second paragraph, accordingly the study of visual culture should be characterized. So now the author says, accordingly the study of visual culture should be characterized by several concerns. Okay, so it needs to be characterized by several concerns. Now what are the concerns? Let us look at them. First, scholars of visual culture need to examine any and all imagery, high and low, art and non-art, right? So they need to analyze, okay, they need to examine all kind of art, high and low, art and non-art. Even if it is something like is not considered to be a form of art, they still need to examine it. Next is, they must not restrict themselves to object of a particular beauty or aesthetic value. Okay, so this line is very important. The author is saying that the scholars need to examine any form with being unbiased. They should have an unbiased opinion. They should not restrict themselves with an art form that they personally like. For example, if I like painting and I get a job of examining something related to statues and all, okay, sculptures, well, I won't be doing the proper analysis if I am more oriented or inclined towards the painting. So I need to be unbiased. That is exactly the author is talking about. Next, indeed, any kind of imagery may be found to offer up evidence of visual constructions of reality. Okay, so indeed, any kind of imagery may be found to offer up evidence of the visual construction of reality. So yes, if you are unbiased, if you are looking every form of art, non-art, anything, any form of imagery thing, you can get something, you can learn something. Okay, it can offer evidence, it can offer up evidence of the visual construction of reality, right? So that's what the author is talking about. Let's move on to the next page. Yes, next paragraph, I mean. Now, second, first point we mentioned, first point in the first point, author said that we must not restrict ourselves to any form of art form. We need to be we need to have an unbiased opinion. Now the second point, the study of visual culture must scrutinize visual practice. Okay, so the study of visual culture needs to scrutinize, okay, needs to scrutinize, needs to evaluate visual practice as much as images themselves, asking what images do when they are put to use. Okay, so this study of visual culture actually is must, author is saying that it must scrutinize visual practice as much as images themselves. Like the way you are trying to scrutinize, or way the scholar scrutinizes image, the same way the author need to scrutinize the visual practice as well, asking what images do when they are put to use. Yes, if scholars engaged in this enterprise inquire what makes an image beautiful, or why this image or that constitutes a masterpiece or work of genius, okay, they should do so with the purpose of investigating an artist's or work's contribution to the experience of beauty, right? Taste, value, or genius. Okay, so we need to read these few lines again, what exactly it is saying. Now from here, if scholars engaged in this enterprise inquire what makes an image beautiful, why an image is beautiful, okay, they are scrutinizing why an image is beautiful, or why this image or that constitutes a masterpiece of work, or why certain image can be considered as a masterpiece, right, or a work of genius, or you can say a work of genius, like the same way Mona Lisa, the painting by famous Leonardo da Vinci, why it is a masterpiece. If you are scrutinizing something, so they should do so with the purpose of investigating the artist's or work's contribution to the experience of beauty. So what is the contribution of that art in that art? So that should be somehow, I mean, that should be the intention behind your scrutinizing things. Okay, experience of beauty, taste, value, or genius. Now from here, no amount of social analysis can account fully for the existence of Michelangelo or Leonardo. Now this point is very important. It says no amount of social analysis. I need to say you can analyze, you can do many analysis on the works of or you can do many analysis about Michelangelo and Leonardo, but no amount of social analysis can account fully. I mean, no analysis can explain something, okay, no analysis can exemplify something about the existence of Michelangelo and Leonardo, right? Next line, they were unique creators of images that changed the way their contemporaries thought. Contemporaries means the artists who followed their footsteps. Contemporaries thought and felt, and have continued to shape the history of art, artists, museums, feeling, and aesthetic value. Okay, so they were actually like you can say benchmark setters. Okay, they actually started an idea, or actually started something, a trend, and their contemporaries, the artists after them, followed them. So why they, what makes them special, and why the author is saying that no amount of social analysis can account fully for the experience of, or you can say something about Michelangelo and Leonardo. Okay, now, but study of critical artists and popular reception of works by such artists as Michelangelo and Leonardo can shed important light on the meaning of these artists and their works. Okay, so it says, but study on critical, artistic, and popular reception of works by such artists, what they have made, like paintings, Mona Lisa, you can see. Such artists as Michelangelo and Leonardo can shed important light on the meaning of these artists, what actually they wanted to convey through their art. Okay, or their work. Now, the second paragraph, or you can say it is continued. Yes, let me continue from here. So the last line you need to read it. I'll start from but study of critical, artistic and popular reception of work by such artists as Michelangelo and Leonardo can shed important light on the meaning of these artists and their works for many different people. For many different people, it can shed light on their works for many different people, right? And the history of meaning and the history of meaning making has a great deal to do with how scholars as well as lay audiences. Now, two kinds of people: scholars first, the masters of arts, and lay audiences may be a person who does not understand any art form. Okay, so let me read it again, this line. And the history of meaning making has a great deal to do with how scholars as well as lay audiences today understand these artists and their achievements. So, what a scholar can make, or what logical deductions, or what facts, or maybe whatever a scholar will be deriving something, or you can say his opinion or analysis is in his own way, but on the same way a layman will be seeing this in his own way, I mean in a very different way. So they are very far apart from each other. The way a scholar looks at any art form is totally different from the way a layman will look at these pictures, okay, or you can say any art form, right? Now the next paragraph. Third, scholars studying visual culture might probably focus their interpretative work. Okay, like I said, scholars' perspective will be different. Okay, and layman's perspective will be something different. So again, this line. Third, scholars studying visual culture might properly focus on their interpretive work on live words by examining images, practices, visual technologies, taste, and artistic style as constitutive of social relations. Right? The task is to understand. Now, what the task is? Again, the author is explaining. The task is to understand how, question, how artifacts contribute to the construction of a world. Now again, the like it is a statement but has a question in it. It says the task is to understand how artifacts contribute to the construction of the world, of a world. Now important methodological implication follow. Ethnography means something about race, ethnicity, and reception studies became productive forms of gathering information, since these move beyond the images as closed and fixed meaning events. Okay, so again, nothing very important, but yes, a question is there in the statement. The task is to understand how artifact contributes to the construction of a world. Okay, and once also the intention of scholars are being shown in the first line of this paragraph. That third, scholars studying visual culture might properly focus their interpretive work on live words, examining images, right? So layman, just a touch was given, a very slight definition was given, or you can say the author has touched this point very slightly, that how a layman will be seeing and analyzing these artifacts, right? Next paragraph. Next is fourth point. Fourth, scholars may learn a great deal when they scrutinize the constituents of vision. Now again, we are talking about scholars. Scholars may learn a great deal when they scrutinize the constituents of vision. Constituents of vision. That is the structures of perception. That is the structures of perception. Okay, the constituents of vision, that is the structures of perception as a psychological process, as well as the epistemological framework informing a system of visual representation. Now, what do we mean by epistemological? It is, you can say, a study of an art form, or you can say analysis, something like analysis, as well as epistemological framework informing a system of visual representation. So now let us understand this line again. Fourth, scholars may learn a great deal when they scrutinize the constituents of vision. That is, the structures of perception, how what you perceive, what do you make of it, or what do you think when you see an art form, as a psychological process as well as the epistemological framework, okay, informing a system of visual reception. Okay, so what are the psychological effect, or how a person can, what a person is basically seeing in any art. I'm just explaining as a layman. Yes, next. Vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation. Now, again, it is saying that what vision is. Vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation. Depending on the design of human body and how it engages the interpretive devices developed by a culture in order to see intangibly. Intangibly means something that is very clear. We can comprehend something very well. So again, let us read this line. It says vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation. Okay. So vision is socially and biologically constructed operation. So what you have known about something from society or biologically, you amalgamate all these two things, and then you try to analyze something whatever you see. So again, vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation depending on the design of human body and how it engages the interpretive device developed by culture in order to see intangibly, right? Next, seeing operates on the foundation of covenants. Now, covenants means contracts. Covenants means contracts. Let me explain. Let me complete this line, and then I'll try to explain it. Seeing operates on the foundation of contracts with the images that establish the conditions for meaningful visual experience. Okay, it means that seeing actually operates, whatever we see, the way, or you can say whatever the way the author is seeing, it totally operates on the foundation of covenants. Covenants means contracts. Okay, what are these contracts? Like in the previous line, here I need to say socially and biologically. Vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation. So whatever you see, okay, or however connected you feel, okay, the way you feel that you are connected with something is something related with society and biology. So now the same way, it is, the author is saying seeing operates on the foundation of covenants. Covenants means your contracts with the images, what you have been told about those images or those art forms previously from society or maybe biology. So some prior knowledge or some prior information is being already there. It's already there in your image, and through that you are just matching the whole process. Okay, so this is something. What do I perceive? What society know of it? Should I criticize it? Should I praise it? So everything is a contractual thing that you have learned from, that you have that is socially and biologically dependent. Because in the passage itself, the author is saying vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation, okay, depending on the design of human body and how it engages the interpretive device. So whatever you see, for example, if you have learned about the Mona Lisa, so you must have learned something from society and anything else. What the what Mona Lisa is, who created it. So some prior knowledge is there already with you, and you are actually just using those foundational knowledge and seeing trying to figure out what you can make of it. Okay, so that's exactly what the author is trying to convey. Finally, the scholar of visual culture seeks to regard images as evidence for explanation, not as epiphenomena. Now, what do we mean by epiphenomena? Epiphenomena means something, a substitute or a supplement. Okay, substitute you can say. Epiphenomena means substitute. So what does this line is saying, and how the author is concluding this paragraph? Not, I mean the whole passage. finally the scholar of visual culture seeks to regard image as evidence for explanation. So a scholar seeks to regard images as evidence for explanation. Okay, image is an evidence for explanation, not as epiphenomena, like a substitute. It is not a substitute. So this is all about the passage. Let's move on to the questions. Now, first question. First question says, which one of the following best describes the word epiphenomena? Just it is mentioned in the last line. Epiphenomena in the last sentence of the passage. Now, like I said, epiphenomena means something that is, you can say, supplement or substitute, you can say. Let us see. First is phenomena amenable to analysis. Now the author was saying it should, like, let me go back to that part so that again we can just read it. So finally, last line, you need to see the last line. Finally, the scholar of visual culture seeks to regard images as evidence of explanation. Okay, not as epiphenomena, not as epiphenomena. So actually he is rejecting this word or this definition of epiphenomena, that means like to be something, a substitute. So the question asks, which one of the following best describes the word epiphenomena? Now you are supposed to find what does this word mean in this passage. Now first option says phenomena amenable to analysis. Okay, amenable means friendly, or you can say something closely. Second is phenomena supplement to evidence. Supplement to evidence. Three is overreaching collection of images, which I don't think is, this is totally absurd. Okay. Fourth is visual phenomena as epic proportion. Again, playing with the words. Whoever has said this question is playing with the words. Now, either it should be one or two. Now, one says phenomena amenable to analysis. No, but epiphenomena means a phenomena supplement to the evidence. Actually, author is saying it should not be a supplement. It should be something that is used for evidence. Like the last line, images, to regard images as evidence of explanation. So evidence of explanation, not negative clause is being used here, not as epiphenomena. So what can we make of it? We can think that phenomena supplement to evidence. So this word means that phenomena is substitute or supplement to the evidence. But like the author was saying, it should not be the case. You should not take any image as a supplement to evidence, but it is actually something from which you get explanation. So that is why I think option number 2 is correct. Now second question is, all of the following statements may be considered valid inferences from the passage except. So yes, it is like true and false, something like true and false. So out of the 4 options, 3 options are something that is related to the paragraph, and 1 is something that you need to rule out, that will be not talking about something that is mentioned in the paragraph. Now statement number 1, option number 1, artifacts are meaningful precisely because they help to construct the meanings of the word for us. Yes, somehow it was given, this point was mentioned, that artifacts are meaningful precisely. They are meaningful precisely because they help us to construct the meanings of the word for us. Somehow we are able to understand the meanings, that if from the sculptures, or you can say the statues made by Michelangelo, we are able to understand the society, how the world that time was, and how he used to work there, about the society. Basically, we are able to know about the society. Okay, from the paintings of like Leonardo, like he had many paintings done, and the most famous is Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. So from that painting, still today many artists try to figure out what was the intention behind that painting, why Leonardo da Vinci painted that, and what was the type of society during his time. Okay, so obviously this point is something that is mentioned in the paragraph. Second, studying visual culture requires institutional structures. Now it is, let me read it completely. Studying visual culture requires institutional structures without which the structure of the perception cannot be analyzed. Now, okay, I can understand something of it, but there is a keyword, institutional structures. I don't see where this word was used and in what context it has been put here. Okay, but again, I am not ruling it out. I'll be reading the other options as well. Option number 3, understanding the structures of perception. Okay, structures of perception was given in the last paragraph, or you can say last paragraph. Yes, we'll go back to that session. That part. Understanding the structures of perception is an important part of understanding how visual culture works. Okay, so it is, yes, it was given in the paragraph, in the passage, that understanding the structures of perception is a part of understanding how visual culture works. Okay, now last point, last option, visual culture is not just about how we see. Okay, it is not just about how we see, but also about how our visual practices can impact and change the world. Yes, we are something like the reference is being given to the scholars in the first paragraph itself, or maybe in the second paragraph. Okay, it was given that any art form is basically analyzed by two types of people. First, scholars, and second, laymen. Right? So scholars are trying to analyze and find an explanation and to make that what kind of society was at that time and many other things. Okay, so basically it tells, but also again last option, visual culture is not just about how we see. It is not about how we see, but also about how visual practices can impact, and change the world. Yes, so again it is some reference was given, okay, about option number 4 in the passage, but if you see closely this keyword institutional structures, I don't understand in what context is it has been used. Okay, so I can go with option number 2, that option number 2 is the answer. Why? Because option number 2, the reference is clear. I'm not getting the reference in what context or where this keyword was mentioned. Institutional structure. So studying visual culture requires institutional structure, without which structures of perception cannot be analyzed. Again, I don't understand. I was not able to find it. So I think, as per me, option number 2 should be the answer. Next question number 3. Now question number 3 says, okay, this is a great question. No amount of social analysis can account fully for the existence of Michelangelo or Leonardo. Again, the line has been taken directly from the paragraph, the passage. In light of the passage, which one of the following interpretations of this sentence is most accurate? Okay, so no amount of social analysis can account fully for the existence of Michelangelo and or Leonardo. Now what are the options? Let us look at the options. Social analytical accounts of people like Michelangelo or Leonardo cannot explain their genius. Okay, we can think it can be an answer, a very favorable option, but let us look at some other options as well. Second, Michelangelo or Leonardo cannot be subjected to social analysis because of their genius. Okay, why? They can be subjected to social analysis, but we will not be able to find any explanation. Yes, Michelangelo and Leonardo can be subjected to analysis. Scholars are doing analysis about them. But as per the paragraph, it's given that though we can do n number of analysis on them, but we may never be able to find the mindset or the level of their genius. So okay, again, they can be subjected to, but the option says they cannot be subjected to. So I think this is wrong. I'm just eliminating this option. Now, third part, no analysis exists of Michelangelo's or Leonardo's social accounts. No analysis. We are doing, many scholars are doing, many scholars till date have done many analysis on them. But this option says, option number 3 says, no analysis exists of Michelangelo's or Leonardo's social account. There are many analysis. It's just that we are not able to find the level of genius. So again, this can be eliminated. Now last option, option number 4. Socially existing beings cannot be analyzed. Socially existing beings cannot be analyzed. Is it possible that socially existing beings cannot be analyzed? You cannot analyze any socially existing beings. So I don't think the reference is being given from the paragraph. Again, this is wrong. So I think option number 1 is good to go. And let me explain this option number 1 again. What is it trying to say? That social analytical accounts of people like Michelangelo or Leonardo cannot explain their genius. Social analytical accounts, I mean whatever analysis we have done about Michelangelo and Leonardo cannot explain their genius, right? Very true. So this is right. So option number 1 is the answer. Now next question. Question number 4. Question number 4, again something, a line that has directly been taken from the paragraph, the passage. Now it says, seeing operates on the foundation of covenants with images that establish the conditions of meaningful visual experience. So again, this was given, I think, in the last paragraph. Let me read the question, then we'll go back to the last paragraph. Seeing operates on the foundation of covenants. Covenant means contracts with images that establish condition for meaningful visual experience. Okay. In light of the passage, now 2 questions. I can see 2 questions like this. This is the one, and another one that no analysis can be, like about Michelangelo and Leonardo. So the question, same type of question is being repeated. Okay, in light of the passage, which one of the following statements best conveys the meaning of the sentence? In light of the passage, which one of the following statements best conveys the meaning of the sentence? So which one do you think best conveys this quotation taken from the paragraph? Now what the statement is, again let me read it, and we'll be reading the options then. Seeing operates on the foundation of covenants. Seeing operates on the foundation of covenants with images that establishes the condition for meaningful visual experience. So let me read the options. No, let me go back to the paragraph, last part. So now this part, you need to read this paragraph. Okay, this paragraph. From here you can see, yes, vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation. Okay, whatever you see, your vision is a socially and biologically constructed operation depending on the design of human body and how it engages the interpretive devices developed by culture in order to see intangibly. Means clearly. Now from here, this part was taken in the question. Seeing operates on the foundation of covenants with images that establish the conditions for meaningful visual experience. So conditions means what? Whatever you know something about a subject, whatever prior knowledge you have something about a subject, you use that knowledge when you are trying to establish a relation with that image, or if you are trying to draw any idea or conclusion of that image. So in the same way, so what what the options are. Let me look at the options. Yes. So the first option is sight becomes a meaningful visual experience because of covenants. Sight becomes a meaningful visual experience because of covenants of meaningfulness that we establish with images we see. Okay. Second, the way we experience sight is through images operated on by meaningful covenants. Okay, again the author is, I mean the examiner, the question, you can say the option is playing with the words. The way we experience sight is through images. The way we experience sight is through images operated by meaningful covenants. Again, I don't think so. It is clearly giving any idea. I cannot go with option number 2. Again, it is just twisting the words, using the keywords that were used in the paragraph, but not expressing it in the right way. Now, option number 3. Images are meaningful visual experiences when they have a foundation of covenant seeing them. Images are meaningful visual experiences when they have a foundation of covenants seeing them. When they have, like images have. Can you just figure out the meaning of this line? Images are meaningful visual experiences. Okay, images are meaningful visual experiences when images have a foundation of covenants seeing them. When they have a foundation of covenants seeing them, well, a person is actually seeing them, not a foundation of covenants seeing them, right? So again, it is touching the keywords, but again, it's playing with the words. Okay, I don't think it is something to go with. Option number 4. Sight as a meaningful visual experience is possible. Sight as a meaningful visual experience is possible when there is a foundational condition established in images of covenants. Okay, so now option number 1 of, okay, either of them, I mean, has the potential to be the answer. You can say either 4 or either 1 is the answer. Let me read option number 1 again. Sight becomes a meaningful visual experience because of covenants of meaningfulness that we establish with the image. Again, it is something expressing something very clearly. Sight becomes meaningful visual experiences because of the covenants of meaningfulness that we establish with the images we see. Okay. Option number 4 says sight as a meaningful visual experience is possible. Okay, it is going on the part of possibility when there is a foundational condition established in images, not established with images, established in images. Again, the wrong use of preposition, you can say. Okay, wrong use of preposition. Established in images. No, it should be established with the images, right? Established in the images of covenants. Again, keywords are being given, but again, it is playing with the words. So I think the better way to understand is, like I said, and I have already explained, sight becomes a meaningful visual experience. Whatever you see, it becomes a meaningful experience for you, okay, or for anyone else, because of covenants. Because of covenants, the contracts of meaningfulness that we establish with the images that we are looking at, and the knowledge or the prior information, that whatever small piece of information we have about that knowledge that came from either that came from you can say that came socially or biologically. So we are actually using this. Okay, so this is how we can just eliminate the other options, and I can go with option number 1. Sight becomes a meaningful visual experience because of covenants, clear, of meaningfulness. Covenants of meaningfulness that we establish, not the images are going to establish something. We are going to establish something that we establish with the images we see. With the images we see. And the problem with option number 4 was it is like grammatically incorrect, and logically it is also not getting to logically it is not going anywhere good, right? So you can say established in the images. It is not established in the images. It should be established with the images. Okay. So again, the answer should be 1. Okay. Now, again, if you have any doubt, you can comment down below. I'll be there to just address your doubts. It is a good, like, the the article is exceptionally, I mean, it has been written exceptionally well. Okay. The level or the detail or the complexity of the language, it's really phenomenal. Last question. Last question says, which set of keywords below most closely captures the argument of the passage? Okay, so you are not getting a complete sentence, instead you are getting some keywords that captures the arguments of the passage. You can say maybe the essence, or you can say the key ideas, the keywords that are capturing the key ideas of the passage. So again, whatever options, in all the options there will be some keywords that are used or will be taken from the paragraph, but you need to eliminate or choose the ones that are actually not, you need to eliminate the ones that are not actually highlighting the key ideas or the keywords, okay, or the main idea, and choose the one that are actually selecting or going with the key idea. Now, first option, option number 1 says visual culture. Again, it is the main point. You can say the whole paragraph is about visual culture. Aesthetic value. We can understand aesthetic value of a painting, or what aesthetic value any art form holds. Okay, this is also right. As per this can be the key word. Lay audience. Again, lay audience is not a keyword. Lay audience, you can say, in the paragraph, this line lay audience is used in a way like there are two types of people that analyze, or like analyze any art form. That is, one is scholar and second is lay audience. That is all. That's exactly what is talked about in the paragraph. So lay audience is not the soul, not the soul of the paragraph. So lay audience is a wrong keyword that is being used here. So on the basis of this, we can eliminate this. Option number 2, scholars, social analysis, Michelangelo, Leonardo, interpretive device. So now let me read this paragraph, I mean this option again. It says, just 1 second. Yes, scholars. Okay, scholars are the keywords. You can say, who will do the analysis? Visual culture. It is something closely related to scholars. Okay, I can go with this. Social analysis. Okay, I can understand. Michelangelo and Leonardo. Right? Interpretive device. Not the keyword. It cannot be the keyword. Interpretive devices. In a very slight way, this word was used in the paragraph. Again, not very. It is not giving a strong vibe that I should go with this word. Option number, again, I'm not eliminating this option, but I'll be reading 3 and 4 as well. Option number 3 says imagery. Again, imagery, right? Everything was visual culture, images, right? Next, visual practice. Again, it is also a keyword. Life words. Again, life words. The works of different artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo, life words. You can say it can be the keyword. Next is structures of perception, right? Structures of perception was very well used in the paragraph, because it was said we try to analyze any image on the basis of structures of perception. This way it was used. But again, let me read the last option as well. Visual construction of reality. Maybe work of genius. Yes, obviously work of genius, because two geniuses were mentioned. One was Michelangelo and second was Leonardo da Vinci. Ethnography. Okay, about the race, about the society. Okay, visual culture can help us to find about the society, the race. Okay, I can go with it. But the last option, epiphenomena. Now this option was totally, this word was totally rejected by the author. In the last passage, in the last line itself, the author was saying that images should be evidence. Sorry, let me go back to that part so that you can just read that part, and it will be much more easier for you. Yes. So which part is there? Yes, last line. Finally, scholar of visual culture seeks to regard images as evidence of explanation. So they should regard images as evidence of explanation, not as epiphenomena. So author is against this terminology, this word, this the definition of the very definition of epiphenomena. So if the author itself is like criticizing this word, how can this word be the soul of the passage? Obviously, this can't, right? You are getting my point. Obviously, this can't be the soul of the passage. If author itself is not sure, if author itself is suggesting that images should work as an evidence, okay, as an evidence to analysis, or you can say, but it should not be something like epiphenomena. So if author is rejecting this terminology, so obviously if it is rejected by author, so it cannot capture the essence of it, right? So I can go with the best option. I think should be first option. That is visual culture. Yes, it is the soul. Aesthetic value obviously was what aesthetic value any art form holds. Lay audience, sorry, not the first. I'm reading the wrong one. Wrong one. Lay audience is wrong. Obviously. I'm sorry. Which one I was going for? Three, option number three. Sorry, I was reading option number one. My bad. Yes, imagery. Yes, imagery can be the right form. Imagery, yes, images. We are talking about images. Visual practices, yes, clearly and very strongly mentioned in the passage. Light words, yes, light words of, you can say, the works of Michelangelo, the work of Leonardo, yes. Structures of perception, very strongly and clearly mentioned in the passage. Yes, so obviously option number three looks very promising. So I'll go with option number three. All the other options also are very close, but in every options apart from three, in every option there is a use of wrong keyword. Like apart from option number three, in every option there is a keyword that is wrongly used. So that is why other options are wrong, and why option number three is, this is why option number three is promising and right. So this was it. I tried my level best to explain this passage, which was asked in CAT 2020 slot 2. Okay, this was passage RC1. So I'll be coming up with more sessions with another RCs of slot 2 and be completing slot 2. Then we'll be moving on to the slot 3. In case if you did not get any point, or if you were not able to understand any of the lines or my explanation, please do comment down below. I'll be more than happy to address and acknowledge it. Okay, right, so we shall meet in another session. Till then, happy learning and bye.